Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I got another deck profile for you guys today. This time it's an update on my hero deck for the November 2019 format. Which, by the way, I hope everyone had a great Halloween. I just mainly spent the day just watching horror movies. Of course I had work, but overall it was still pretty fun. And now keep in mind some of my deck profiles that I have planned for this month might be delayed because I'm trying to get the orders I need for them, and also because my money's a little tight right now. But Aroma just should be done hopefully by the end of next week. I pretty much got the majority of the core, just need a couple more cards and my deck's pretty much done. So hopefully you guys won't have to wait too long. But I do have a few lined up already that are ready and completed. So again, I figured I'd start with Hero since it's a deck that's actually, helped me out a lot in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's probably one of my best decks right now, and personally, it's easily one of my favorites. So yeah. Alright, so let me go and show you what I got this time around. Alright, so starting off with the main deck, of course, got to play 3 Stratos. I mean, the fact that he's back at 3 is amazing. Searches out all your heroes, can pop spells and traps based on however many heroes you control other than himself, so really good. And his effect is not a hard once per turn, so you could keep summoning this card out and keep using his effect, so really powerful. Next, 2 Shadow Mists, you only ever need 2. Generally, the idea is just to special summon it to get access to your mass change, and also it also searches out your heroes if it's sent to the graveyard. But of course, you can only use one of the effects once per turn and only once that turn. So you gotta choose one or the other. Next, 1 Solid Soldier. But now that Stratos is at 3, I think 1 is all you need. And honestly, it's still a great card. Don't get me wrong, especially because of the fact that it's one of your best normal summons. But again, the fact that it's searchable with E-Call and Rhoda, it's just like you only ever need the 1. And plus, I do like the effect where if you sent from field to the grave by spell effect, it brings back one of your elemental heroes in defense mode, so it's pretty good. But again, I think 1's just fine. You could run 2 if you would so choose. You would just have to work around your own ratios. And the last of my elemental heroes, Honest Neos, because it's also searchable through E-Call, so if you already have all your combo pieces, you could just search it out very easily. Next, for the newer support, 3 Vision Hero Ferris. This is actually one of your best starters. As long as you open up with either Stratos or Vision Hero Ferris, you pretty much got full combo right here. And with Malicious at 3, this card really sets off. So discard any hero monster to special summon it, and if you do, you can place a Vision Hero to your spell and trap card zone, and the one you always go for is Increase. Just keep in mind it does lock you out from using your extra deck unless you're summoning hero monsters, but generally the whole extra deck is pretty much hero. There's only one monster I don't have. That I have that is not a hero, but it's just there to help me break boards. Moving on, when Increase is summoned, you could basically special summon a Vision Hero from your deck, but of course that effect only works if he's into spell and trap cards. But what's really cool is that the fact that he's a continuous trap, or treated as a continuous trap, his ability is technically quick effect. So it's a good way just to dodge certain cards like effect failure or infinite impermanence. So, and it tributes for cost, so that's also amazing. But your main target for him is Vision Hero Vion. Lets you dump any hero to the grave and gives you instant access to your polymerization card. So definitely amazing. Now for the Destiny Hero package, got 3 Malicious. The fact that he's at 3, I'm just really happy. I mean, I've said that this card can come back to 3 now that Summon Sorceress is banned, and honestly, it deserves it. So yeah. Next, 1 Celestial. A lot of people don't like this card. I personally like it because he has 2 different effects. Even if you open up with it, it's not that big of a deal because, when this card declares an attack, I actually forgot to mention this last times I've actually put this in my deck. He pops spells and traps as long as they're face up, and you burn your opponent for 500 points. So if you need something just to give you a time advantage, just to win by time, this card could actually help you out. And it also is a good way to deal with floodgates, there can only be 1. So if your opponent springs out on your standby phase, just summon this card, and just, attack over the, any opponent, just attack and then just pop any of those floodgates. So, Celestial's not bad. And also his graveyard effect, which you generally always go, if you end up going to turn 2, you would just draw 2 cards if you have no hand by banishing it and 1 other Destiny hero. Next, 1 Dynatag. It's a hand trap in itself. If you're going to take battle damage, the damage becomes 0 and both you and your opponent will take 1,000 points. But I mainly just use it for the power boost effect. You banish it to give one of your Destiny heroes 1,000 attack points until the end of the next turn. And then lastly, Destiny Hero Plasma. This card's actually really strong against Pendulums and Thunder Dragons. If you spraying this on them, if you're going first, and because like pendulums really have no out to this, and Thunder Dragons, don't really have an answer to this card at all. So it's just a good way. And if you have Honest Neos in hand, the fact that you could just power boost it is great. So it's a skill drain, a one-sided skill drain. So definitely need to run it. And that's it for the heroes. Now we can go and move on to our hand traps. For hand traps, I'm only running 6. Running 3 Ash, of course, and of course my personal favorite, Nibiru. I mean, since this is a blind second deck, Nibiru might as well just be in the main deck. So that's the only gist behind that. And what's also cool about Nibiru is that he's light attribute as well as a token. So if I get hit with the Nibiru, I do have a polymerization target if I need it. If I need to use that token, so yeah. But we'll get to that momentarily. Now moving on to spells, Fusion Destiny. Amazing card, lets you fusion summon for using materials from your hand or your deck, so it's really good. And the fact that it's just like, honestly, this card basically gives you a +3. You bring out Dystopia. Dystopia burns your opponent for damage, and you get, if you send Malicious, you get, more Malicious out and just keep extending. So Fusion Destiny is crazy. 3 Mass Change, since we don't consistently bring out Shadow Mist by her effect, well, by special summoning it enough, you definitely want to try to hard draw this card as much as you can. Next, 3 E-Call, standard, just to get all your elemental heroes. Of course, you still got to run Rhoda, which is basically a 4th copy of E-Call. This card should come back to 3, honestly. A hero lives. Eventually, I'll try to get my hands on a hollow copy, but for now, I just got to stick to the common. Next, I'm main decking only 2 copies of Super Poly. I do have the 3rd on the side. Again, this is a blind second deck, so I want to see what I'm up against first before, I decide to, work around my strategy. But Super Poly, like, if I'm up against a combo-heavy deck, I can easily break their board with this because it's not respondable. And the last card in my deck is Polymerization, of course. Alright, so 40 cards in the main deck. Now we're moving on to the extra deck. Extra deck starts with 2 Cross Crusaders. I've seen some people bump down to 1. I think 2 is fine, honestly, just because, in case, it gets stopped one time, you have another turn, bring out a new one, and just go from there. I'm running 1 Wonder Driver, recycles all your fusion cards, so really powerful. 1 Dread Decimator, just because it gives your hero monsters power boost, and it also does piercing damage, so Dread Decimator is really good for that purpose. And the fact that he continuously buffs up Dystopia is amazing, because Dystopia's attack points return back to normal if it uses this effect, but with Dread Decimator always giving him that power boost, it's really powerful, so yeah. For Masked Heroes, I'm running 2 Dark Law, 1 Anki, 1 Blast, and of course, Deanne. I decided to bring back Deanne just because, I do see it quite more often than not, and honestly, like, I've been seeing it a lot more often. I mean, everyone already knows that Dark Law is, a one-sided macrocosmo. Anki can attack directly, also searches out your mass change, and Blast, returns spells and traps, and it weakens your opponent's monsters. So, it's all really good. I was actually thinking of running Masked Hero Divine Wind, but I'm still kind of iffy whether or not I do want to run it, but who knows, I may add it at one point or another. Moving on, running Elemental Hero The Shining. I brought it back because, again, Nibiru. If Nibiru's dead in your hand, like, if you don't want to, if you draw 2 late into the game, you could Polymerization one of your Elemental Heroes with it because it's a light attribute. Or if your opponent hits you, like, if they force you to go first and they hit you with that Nibiru, you could use that token for fusion material with one of your Elemental Heroes, so it's just a good way to come back. And it gets 200 points for every banished hero you have. And if it's sent from field to the grave, you could basically add 2 Elemental Heroes that are banished and add them back to your hand, so it's a good way to have recursion. I'm running Dystopia, of course. Definitely like one of the best forms of disruption. Dangerous is also really nice. For my Vision heroes, I'm playing Adoration and Trinity. And yes, I'm not running Evil Heroes, guys. Like, Evil Heroes are really good, but they're very expensive. So, this is just my build with no Evil Heroes. And honestly, Evil Heroes are not 100% needed. This deck is still very competitive without them. So, just as an FYI. And then for my other Super Poly targets, Starving Venom, Fusion Dragon. Oh yeah, actually, now that I think about it, Elemental Hero The Shining can also be used for a Super Poly target against Thunder Dragons, because Titan, is a light attribute, so, well, there you go. I technically have 2 Super Poly targets. Alright, so now moving on to the side deck, it's pretty standard. Running one of my personal favorites, Ghost Sister. Artifact Lancer to deal with Thunder and Orchist. For back row heavy strategies, Twin Twisters. I actually set out my Called by the Graves just because, like, this set can easily play around hand traps anyway, and plus, like, if I'm up against, like, Subterra or something, I definitely want to deal with that Fiendus, because Fiendus is very annoying. Like I said, I'm running my third copy Super Poly on the side, in case if I do need that third one, well, it's there when it's there. And then lastly, Red Reboot. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and just let me know what y'all think. And be sure to stay tuned, and I will catch you guys again next time.